Hey guys, welcome to my channel. We are on the island of Twinkle, and today we're going to be making Shy Violet's outfit. Now, one of the questions that I get asked the most out of every question that I've ever been asked is about color palette. How do you find colors? So I'm going to go over all of that. I'm going to explain everything to you, and hopefully it helps you in your journey for looking for colors, even those hard to find colors. So I'm going to go over where they live on the color palette and all of those things. So yeah, let's get started. So one of the first things I do every time I start working on a color palette is I actually take these base colors right here and I just kind of line them up. I have a really good reason for this, and I'll explain it to you as soon as I'm done. Future me is going to go ahead and fast forward through this so you don't actually have to see me place every single little line. So now I have all of these laid down very quickly. I'm going to move myself out of the way really quick just so that I can show you guys where it is that you go to change the colors. Okay, so right here, you're going to press X. You're going to go to this change color tool. So the tool lives right there, and here is where you're going to find all of your colors. Now I am trying to match this image right here that I drew of our character Shy Violet, and this is the outfit that I'm trying to make her in the game within the parameters of what the game will allow. So something pretty close to this. So the colors that I want to pick are in this hue right over here, and for hue I'm going to pick something in this purple color where that color palette kind of lives. I don't want it so saturated, and the way I'm looking at what color it's going to end up being is that I'm looking at this brightness down here, and when you see on that spectrum right there, you see like kind of the color you're trying to get close to. That's when you can stop moving the saturation. So I'm seeing my color on that level right there, and it's gonna be right over here. Now if I pick up my girl right here in this image and I move her over here, I'm pretty close. Now Animal Crossing is a bit of a struggle because it's really hard to get anything perfectly matched in this game. It doesn't have all of the colors available. This one is pretty close, but I feel like it's very dark and very saturated. So I'm gonna go with the step down just because I think that's going to translate a little better on her outfit. But that is how I choose the colors. I put my character up on the screen, and then I just go through here and I start picking the colors out, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. So right off with the second color, I'm just gonna kind of copy the first one. So we were over here in the hue, and the saturation is right around here. I'm going to try and match this exactly. And the reason I'm matching it exactly is because I'm going to take the one before it and I'm going to make it lighter. So I do need a highlight shade, like a soft highlight shade. So I'm going to make the one in the first position, the slightly lighter version. And this is the mid-tone, which is going to be the main color. And then I'm going to add a shadow, probably to one soft shadow and one harsh shadow. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to pick our saturation, which lived right around there. And then we're going to go back to our color. We're going to match the one before it in order to go a little bit darker than it. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue doing that in order to make it match even more. We're going to go back. We're going to hit this color. We're going to push it all the way to the edge. Then we're gonna go a little further. This time I'm gonna go 2 steps forward because I do want this to be like a hard shadow. Now for the highlight, there's this kind of pinkish highlight that I used in the drawing, and I do want to bring that into the code because it's kind of a shimmery outfit, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that all the way over here to the pink that is right next to the main color. And if you see on the dark saturation, it is that purpley color. So we're gonna pull that, we're gonna make it very, very, very light. I'm gonna take down the saturation a little because it's not as saturated in my drawing as it is here in Animal Crossing. So we're gonna take it down just a little bit to be kind of like, I would say this, even maybe here. I'm gonna take the brightness all the way over because we're gonna start, obviously we work from light to dark. So I would say that it's, let's see, do I need to go here? No, it's definitely in this family right here. And this is what I do. I just play with the colors until I see something that is either similar to what I want or that I can work with. Now, none of these colors are set in stone. They can definitely be changed later on if I see something else that's working a little better for me. Definitely, I'm always open to changing it. We're gonna go back to our original color, and then I don't know if I want to move the saturation to make it darker or if I want to move the brightness to make it darker. I'm going to move both. So I move both of those one notch over. For the third one though, I'm going to actually move this hue shade over a little bit back to our original magenta color. And I'm going to pull this into the more vibrant spectrums, and I'm going to make it kind of light so that it's still kind of purple, you know? It has that purpley tone to it. And then we're going to do that again, but we're going to make it just slightly darker. And I think by darker, it might be more saturated, maybe, sort of, right? This is for that star, like to add in some sparkles there. It's not going to be the main color. It's just meant to be an accent color. But I'm thinking I might be feeling this a little bit better for the dress. Okay, so we're gonna kind of leave it like this for right now and see what happens later. For this lavender, I'm going to go next to the magenta color that we were using, and I'm gonna use the straight purple. I'm gonna take it down in saturation, and we're trying to match the lavender of her sleeve. So we're gonna go ahead and take that color. It is going to be fairly light, and then the one right next to it, I'm going to have as like a shadow, right? So we're just gonna make that. I don't think I'm gonna have too many shades of this color. To be honest, I think just 3 is going to be fine. Sometimes 2 works depending on how many colors you need to put in an outfit. Sometimes just having one main color and one shadow works just fine as well. All right, I'm gonna speed through the rest of this. I'm just letting you know exactly how it works as I'm doing it. So hopefully this will be a little bit helpful to you. I'm sorry if you guys hear my dog in the background. So for the white on this dress, I do want the purpley kind of feeling to come through. I'm going to take the vividness to 2, and then I'm going to take the brightness all the way up, and that's going to give us our kind of white without being actually like white, you know? And then we're going to take it again over here. We're going to give it a hue saturation of 2. I'm going to go all the way back to the same color, and it's going to take us to that kind of next to the white, like the adjacent color. I might actually allow this one to be a white in case I need a black in here somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and leave the black because you never know when you're going to need a black color somewhere. And now I have my color palette. Let me explain to you how some other colors look. I'm going to go ahead and get violet off the screen, and we're going to go to a regular tile so that I can explain how this goes. Okay, so we're in the main color palettes, or the main part of the custom designs. I'm going to go ahead and make everything here clear. It's just a nice place to start. And then we're going to go back up to our color changing tool, which is right underneath my head. The first color that I get asked all the time is how to make that brown, like for dirt, right? So browns live in 2 places. They live right here under the 3rd hue, which is a orangey red. They also live here under true orange. So the one that I use typically is right here, but if you're gonna do like a jungle core island or a jungle themed island, you might wanna try this one. Now, the saturation for brown does not go very far into the spectrum. Brown is technically a desaturated dark orange. So please don't go all the way to the very end and wonder why it looks like. It's going to live right here in the mid-tone, somewhere between 7 and 8. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go to 8 for this one. And usually I start my colors about number 6 from the right as far as the darkness goes. But for this kind of color, you're gonna probably want to go a little bit darker. So you're gonna want to start this one also at an 8, just because it's almost the only way that it'll look good. So this would be a mid-tone. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do exactly what I did in the first outfit, and I'm going to make my colors here across so that way as I change them, I can see what the changes are. This is not necessary by any means, but for me, it's very helpful to see as my colors are changing what they're looking like. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to my change color right here, and we're already in the hue that we need to be in. And I'm going to go ahead and match that first color because, as you know, I like to do a highlight right before the mid-tone. So we're going to go ahead and just match that color kind of exactly. And then we're going to go back to the previous color. We're going to make it a shade lighter, and then we're going to continue on this path and we're going to match the color before it and then go one darker. And that's kind of what we're going to do for the next 5 colors. We're going to match the color next to it, and then we're going to go one darker. I mean, I want a total of 6 colors just so we can do like the darker edges and do the shadow of the grass and those kinds of things as we're working on this, if it's going to be like a dirt path, right? So here we matched it. We're going to go one darker, and then we're going to do it again. And there we go. I think that that's a pretty good starting palette to have for a dirt path. Now, how do you test if this is a good path or not? We're going to do a test palette. We're going to call it test palette, right? What I'm going to do so that I don't mess up what I have right here is I'm going to copy and paste it so that I have another copy of it, but I also have the breakdown of it saved on in another code. So if I need to go back and scrap what I'm playing with, then it's not going to hurt me at all. I'm going to take the fill all tool and I'm going to fill this with my main color. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to pixelate it like if I was making a dirt code. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll get back to you on exactly what I'm thinking about it. It's not going to stay looking like lines. I will go back with the main color and then I'll go through it again, but I do want it to look kind of chunky. So I don't want them to look too much like I'm placing dots evenly spaced, because then it ends up looking more like gravel or oatmeal or a different kind of texture. When dirt is really has these highs and lows, these planes where there's a lot of texture and then like little pieces where it's very smooth. So I'm going to make sure that I honor that. And whatever I'm doing on these side edges right here, I'm going to make sure that I make them connect on the other side. Okay, so because I don't want there to not be any like small pieces, I do, just to be clear, I do like little random pixels in between those areas where I do the bigger ones. I just don't evenly space them out and make them look gravelly. So if you're making a main piece for dirt, then definitely make sure that you're paying attention to little things like that. Move your code around so that it doesn't get that effect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my main color and I'm going to break some of this up because it's too much right now. It's looking like too much, and I do want those empty spots in there where there's no movement and it's looking very like simple. I do want some of that, so we're gonna go ahead and drag this tool back through, being really careful not to break it up so much that it's looking like oatmeal or scrambled eggs, as somebody once described one of their codes to me. We don't want like a scrambled eggs effect, right? We want it to just kind of look natural-ish, as natural as you can get in pixel art, right? But I'm gonna add a little bit more back right here in this one space because I want it to be a little chunky in some spaces, just not in all of the spaces. And honestly, I just play around with this a lot until it feels right. I don't know if it's gonna feel right in this color to me. I do know some people really do like using this color. Personally, it's not my favorite, but you know, it happens. Some people do like it. Okay, now after all of this, I'm gonna go through with a highlight color now, and and we're gonna do the same thing. So in some of these empty spaces, like to the top left, I always have my light source on the top left in custom codes. I don't know why. I think that's where my light is usually coming from in game. So I kind of just play with that. I'm gonna go ahead and create some highlights, you know, like we want a little bit of lighter stuff in some areas. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And maybe like usually I do it to the top left of like a darker patch. Any way that I can explain this that will help a little bit better, or anything that you need to know, please feel free to ask questions, as many questions as you want. I'm always happy to help if I can. And I don't use the lighter color too much. Too much highlight is just not good, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and use my main color. We're gonna break that up just a little bit, thin it out just a tiny bit, and kind of make it look a little bit more natural. Okay, now we're gonna just check how this looks on the ground as a repeating pattern. So we're gonna save it as test dirt. You guys know I name my codes things like dirt, path, or just dirt. I'm not one to come up with fancy names for my custom codes. I don't think I'm creative in that way. So here we go. This is our custom code. Personally, I like using these browns on like wood planks and things like that. So I do like that. And from this point right here, I would go ahead and copy and paste it in a 9-piece, and then go and make the outer edges and follow any one of the dirt tutorials that you want to in order to make a dirt path. Now, I'm gonna show you the difference between this one and the yellowy version of it. And also I'm gonna desaturate it a little bit and see if we can make it, I don't know, if it can look a little bit less strong. It's a strong color, right? I do know that there are people who like this color, who use this color. Personally, it's just not for me. Okay, so first I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna desaturate the colors a little bit, and we can play with this. You can play with this however you'd like. We're gonna just take this saturation down just a little, and I find that sometimes that's all I need to make myself like a color. And in this case, that was absolutely correct. I do like it a lot better with it desaturated. If you're wondering why it looks so good next to this blue right here, that is because this blue is on the opposite edge of the color wheel as that orange that it started out as, the original orange, and they are complementary colors in the color spectrum. So we're gonna leave that, we're gonna save it, and then we're gonna move over here and we're gonna change this one right here. We're gonna change it to like the more orangey hue of the palette, which is a little bit jarring at first. I did mention this earlier. When you make this change, it is a little bit jarring. We're gonna take this saturation down as well here because it's really oversaturated, especially just for this particular color. And there you go. See, the highlights are very strong, so I'm going to take those down just a little bit more. They just seem very, very strong to me. There we go. Not that I have an issue with chunk, okay? And there we go. That would be how I start out my dirt custom codes. And I don't think I've ever broken it down for you as much. And this is exactly how I get to where I end up in my colors as far as that goes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my girl's dress. I'm just going to play some music. I doubt you want me to talk anymore, but hopefully this helped you with creating a color palette and finding that brown color of your dreams that you're going to need for all of your dirt paths, because that seems to be the #1 struggle. The only other struggle that I hear all the time that I did forget to address is green. I'm going to use this one right here because it's the easiest one for me to change as far as greens go. You want to match the green of the outside at any given month, and if that's something that you're interested in doing from season to season, you can very easily just change these hues right here. I would take this saturation down because I don't know why it's so overly saturated, but Animal Crossing does that, and I would take that down as well. These are very hue shifty in color. The spring green is going to live a little bit more towards the yellow end of the spectrum, so kind of where it is right now in the yellowy end, but not all the way down to the yellow. So you're going to want to take it down this way for spring, right? Just barely green, but not over over to the blues. Now for summers, you're going to want to take this over here and you're going to want it to be a deeper, kind of more happy, vibrant green. And that's going to reflect throughout. The top is going to be slightly more yellow just because that is the part that hits the sun. So you're going to want the top to be only one hue closer to the yellow. The darkness is all dependent on personal preference. You can make this as dark or as light as you want. And in fall, you're going to take it all the way down to the yellow. Now the yellow does come up like almost like a green in certain saturations. So you're going to want to take this top color all the way to the yellow. If you would like to keep some green, then you would take it to this color right next to there, and then you would sort of just darken it out pretty much. That's all you really have to do is darken it out a little bit, and you have your fall green, because there is a such thing as a fall green. Not everything turns orange in the fall. Some places do retain like a yellowy orangey kind of green. So there you go. Also, if you're making grass, those are also the things that you need to look at. So hopefully that was helpful to you as well. Now I'm gonna get to my girl's dress because she needs an outfit. Girl needs a fit. Hopefully we can make her look cute. Okay guys, before I go, I just wanted to show you guys this kind of sparkly effect that I got on the dress. It really just comes with choosing a very vivid, bright, and almost like a hue shift one over on the actual color that you use. And then you just kind of dot it in to give it like that sequiny kind of feel. Make sure that you put some kind of a really deep shadow in order to really make it kind of pop out at you. And that's how I did that. And so when we go back out and we look at our dress, I think our girl is looking super cute. It's looking kind of like sparkly and metallic, exactly the way I wanted it to look, because that's how it looks in the cartoons. I think our girl's looking super cute. Of course, as far as accessories go, we can't get exact matches, but this is about as close as I could come to in the game. I think we did a pretty decent job, and I hope everyone has an amazing day or night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know that you can be anywhere in the entire world, and you chose to hang out with me for just a little bit of time. I appreciate you so much. A great big shout out to my sugar bears and my honey bunnies. Thank you guys so much. And to all of my channel members, you guys truly make it possible for me to continue to do this, and I appreciate you so much more than I can say for that. If you have any questions about custom designs or creating your own color palette, please feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Bye.